For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kodash. And this is from Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, the 28th chapter and the 8th verse. And you can really start from the first verse. This precept, this scripture says a whole lot. Isaiah, the 28th chapter, and Isaiah, the 29th chapter, and even Isaiah, the 30th chapter. Anyway, it says, Isaiah 28 verse 8, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. I was watching a video yesterday put up by Fopi, and you all should know about Fopi, which Fopi Israelite school at a excuse me, out of DC. You had a couple individuals. Now you have two left, Quanath and Shamshar, I believe his name is, which they were originally a part of. They did their own thing, but they were a part of, under the wing of HODC. But they were sort of, kind of under them, but then they had their own organization, FOPI, which if you become a part of GMS, you can't be a part of GMS but have another name. Yeah, we're down with GMS, but we really got our own name. No, you're going off. And this is, and these guys, they didn't come into the straight gate. What they should have did, and I'm pretty sure they checked out all the camps that were in DC. You got the GMS camp in DC, led by Madagan, and that's a big camp, major camp down there that go out, that are always out there. They don't take breaks. See, that's part of the spirit of GMS, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We're truly under Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So it goes deeper than GMS or any other alphabet group. But lately, you've been hearing even from Sarnetta, that Sarnetta said in a previous video that he had done with Danyala, that the camp that he kind of leans toward is GMS. He said, because I'll listen to GMS and I'll go and check the scriptures, that they, whatever they do videos, I go and check the scriptures, and I see that they're correct. Now, he didn't say ISUPK. He didn't say Captain Tazariak, which he's close to Captain Tazariak. So why didn't he big up Captain Tazariak? Why would he go over Captain Tazariak, ISUPK, and for that matter, any other camp, and say out of all the camps, which is the most hated camp in Israel, why would he say that? Why would he make a statement at GMS? I check out the scriptures. I do a double look at the scriptures, and they're on point. They're 100%. You didn't say that about the IUIC, ISUPK. And we call that guy Sar Nigger. We insult him, but we haven't called him that in a while. But back in the day, we called that guy Sar Nigger. So we was like, fuck you, Sar, But he sees, and that's spiritual, man. That's spiritual. That's spiritual. See, the Most High opened his eyes to see certain things, and I said in the previous video, I said don't be surprised if Sarnetta gets beamed up on one of them ships, because he clearly sees what you other camps can't see. And the reason why you can't see the mark of the beast is a chip, because GMS brought it out. That's why you can't see it. Oh, GMS brought it out? I don't believe that shit. Even Daniela, he looks at us as just men that came up under the Great Seven, and the Great Seven is no more. There's no more Magnificent Seven, man. Okay. Some of them are passed on into the spiritual realm. High Priest Ariana, High Priest Shaw, they're really not doing nothing. The ICGJC is nothing but a church that they know that they're Israelites. Yeshaya, High Priest Yeshaya, High Priest Kazak, they're not doing nothing. And what does it say in Isaiah? Not saying that the Most High can prop them back up, but what are they doing? Who are the true teachers of the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai? And if you're honest with yourself, you would have to say GMS, Great Millstone, is the premier camp over all other camps. You'd have to say that. Now, Daniela, Priest Daniela, he came to the school back in, was it 90, 92 or whatever. I've been in the school since the 80s, early to mid 80s, and he had said, yeah, Tahar was already a general. He said he the way he thinks about us, like I said, he thinks of us as Negroes, as he's a Negro coming into the school and learning under the Magnificent Seven. I didn't mention Lahab. Lahab was one of the seven. Lahab's teaching that Edomites and other nations can make it. So he's bugged out, and he's actually got Edomites following him. He's getting money from Edomites, but he looked at them as these great spiritual individuals that the Most High set up, but not us. He looked, like I said, I'm gonna say it again, third time. Daniela looks at us as Negroes that came up under the seven, that were not special. Well, guess what? Sarnetta looks at us as being special. He said there's something about these GMS individuals, and the Most High made it where we're literally all over the place, and you can't say, oh man, the GMS, they didn't make no videos this week. No, there's so many videos that GMS puts out that I can't even. It's humanly impossible to watch all the videos that the different GMS camps put up. I listened to some of the ones that I got in my what the hell you call that? My favorites, so that I'm subscribed to, and I'll mention some of them. Elder Malcolm out of the Chicago camp, because I subscribe to him, and I hit the bell icon, and I get his videos. It pops up. That's one. And his camp, and the camp. Yashawamba is another one out of Dallas, and some of the men that are part of that, they put up videos. So I get the bell icon, so I watch them, and sometimes I can't even watch the whole video. If it's a long video, I can watch some of it, get certain parts of the video. That's another one. Manata Zakbar is another one out of the SC, South Carolina, South Kakalaka. and he puts up a lot of. He's always putting up videos every day. He puts up videos every day. You know, just to name a few. Besides, you have a lot of the elders are up and comers in New York and the various different camps. You know, you got Jersey out there, you got DC, I mentioned, Monaghan, and he goes, and the Spirit's on him. He goes into a lot of scripture. He's a great scriptural man. He's a precept man, and he's also goes into the Hebrew. He goes into he's like Shalimar. Shalimar was so good in the Hebrew that he surpassed his teacher, High Priest Ariah. He was able to open up the Torah and read it like you read the English, fluently. But he wasn't really that good in the scriptures, and he eventually fell off. But that's just some of the. There's so many YouTube pages I got that pop up and I look. So, you know, I'm not going to spend all day mentioning, but just a couple of the few that I listen to. And what's good is you listen to these videos and you do responses. If you don't have a topic, there's always somebody going into a topic that you can do a response on. Anyway, now this computer's acting. Okay, there we go. You got this group called Fopi Israelite School, and the latest video that they did is titled "The Fourth Beast, the Little Horn, and the Transatlantic Slave Trade," and it's 2 hours 15 minutes long. And you have on the bottom, you have two individuals that formerly was a part of One West, and on top left of your screen is Elder. He titles himself, and he self-titled himself. I think he'd been in HODC for like 2 years, and all of a sudden he just became an elder. He gave himself the title of elder, which is completely out of order. See, he couldn't do that shit in GMS. And that's one of the reasons I believe that he stayed away from GMS, because guess what? He would have had to get in the back of the line. And see, with HODC, you can get in the front of the line quick. And HODC, their spirit is so weak, nobody even talks about them hardly. They break down scriptures wrong, and I see why these guys are breaking down scriptures wrong. But anyway, and I got a handful of precepts for you. Anyway, it says when you watch this video, they're talking about this, breaking down Daniel 7, and it speaks about the little horn taking out 3 of the other horns, and they said that High Priest Ariah and the 7, you know, at One West used to teach it. That was talking about America. So I'm listening, and then they finally come out and say it. They say the little horn is the Roman Catholic Church. The little horn is the Roman Catholic Church. That's why I entitled this video, "For All Tables Are Full of Vomit and Filthiness." These guys have all turned their back on the plow. So when they come back, they're coming back with complete vomit. And for you other Israelites that watch the different videos, you subscribe to IUIC, and you subscribe to ISUPK, and you subscribe to FOPE and all these other groups, I'm going to tell you right now, you're confused. You're completely confused. And you're going to stay confused and lost until the missiles come. The site to go to is GMS. You know, you watch one video, IUIC, you watch, and you say, let me see what GMS got to say about it. Well, if you go to GMS and you go to the subject that this IUIC or ISO or whatever group is talking about, come to us, we breaking it down the right way. Real talk. But I mean, I never heard this breakdown before. I never heard any school or Israelite or even Christian say that the little horn in Daniel 7 is the Roman Catholic Church. That's complete nonsense, man. And you got Elder Cornell, he's sucking it all in because he's totally confused. He said in the previous video that he did, it was almost at the end, he said he doing all this foaming out all that vomit and all that filth. Like his thing, he came back teaching that the so-called Latinos are not the tribes, that all the tribes are black, which that wasn't taught to him by the HODC. And then he disappeared. He turned. What does Luke 9:62 say? You should know it because you did it. You took a hold of the plow and you looked back and you did a disappearing act for a whole year, a year and some change. Then when you came back in, you came back on your own. The new and improved Elder Quanath, and and then another thing, you got emotional, man. Emotional about it, man. So the Most High is not dealing with you. The Most High is not dealing with you. You need to read Matthew the 13th chapter about being offended. So you got offended. So you coming back with this nonsense, and you're going to have lost souls follow you to their demise. The Most High ain't coming to save nobody that's teaching that the little horn in Daniel 7 is talking about the Roman Catholic Church. Now I wonder what the take on Babylon is, because you have Nazariah. He broke off, or he got kicked out really, but it was in a sense where he had the open door to come back. So he kind of got kicked out, but he kind of left. And the only problem he had was the thing about Dan, which we said, look, if you teaching that Dan is here on the part of the tribe chart, the 12 tribes chart, then you're going off, so you can't come around until you fix it. Now he eventually, with his crew, broke completely off, and then they said they used to have debates. They had a debate with IOG, Israel of God, which they're completely you don't talk about gone. They're gone. They're totally gone. Anyway, they had a debate, and they said in the debate, we come up under the elders of GMS. They got the true gospel. Then all of a sudden, through the months and the years, everything that we taught you threw it away. You changed it up, just like these guys are doing. Anyway, you can watch this video, the fourth beast, the little horn, and the transatlantic slave trade. Now you're going to get these simpletons. They're going to see that title, the fourth beast, the little horn, and the transatlantic slave trade. Oh, this is going to be good. Let me get the popcorn ready. And you're going to be confused listening to all that vomit coming out of their mouth. All right? So now let me go into a couple of precepts. Let me go to Romans 11. Romans 11 verse 4. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men. And this is going back to the case of Elijah, because Elijah was feared for his life from the order that witch Jezebel put out to have him put to death. So the Most High came to him and said, look, I have 7,000 prophets that have not bowed to the knee of Baal. And that's what the elect is. A certain number. Okay, it says, I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so, then, at this present time, also there is a remnant. So during the time of Paul's time, there was a remnant, and then this time there's a remnant, and that remnant is the elect, which is the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3. It says according to the election of grace. Jump down to the 7th verse. What then? Israel hath obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for. You're seeking for the truth. You're seeking for the understanding of the scriptures, and you're not going to receive it. The only ones whose eyes are going to be fully open are the elect. It said, but the elect have obtained it, and the rest of who? The rest of Israel were blinded. So if you can't see it, there's a reason why you can't see it. 8th verse, according as it is written, the Most High have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day. Today's date is May 27, 2021, year of the hastening of the coming of Yahweh by Hashem Shai. To this very day, down to the second, it's 8:44 a.m. on the east. You're lost. And the deeper you try to go into the scriptures and try to break this thing down, the more lost you're going to be, and the more vomit you're going to spew out of your mouth. It's unto this day. 8th verse, 9th verse, Romans 11 verse 9. And David saith, which David is a prophet, let their table be made a snare and a trap. Meaning your table is when you sit down, you open up the book or the tablet and you read through the scriptures, and you trying to put precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, to get the understanding. But you can't get it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Fopi, I could be wrong, but they also believe that reincarnation is not biblical. If I'm wrong, they can come and say, nope, we believe, reincarnation is biblical. But you have some Israelites that say, oh no, reincarnation is not biblical. And there's many other topics that they go off on. It says, and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. And you know what is necessary for these false groups to be set up? The Most High set you up to be a stumbling block. And there's precepts on stumbling block. As a matter of fact, give me a second. Okay, Ezekiel 3 verse 20. Again, when a righteous man doeth turn from his righteousness and committeth iniquity, in other words, you turn from the truth, and I lay a stumbling block before him. So who puts a stumbling block before a man that's not supposed to get it? A man outside the elect. Who put up the stumbling block? The Most High put up the stumbling block. It said, and I lay a stumbling block before him. he shall die. So 9th verse again, Romans 11 verse 9. And David saith, and by the way, David is a prophet. Job is a prophet. Solomon is a prophet, or was they were prophets, because David prophesied, Job prophesied, King Solomon prophesied. Let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened. That's in Isaiah 6 and also Isaiah mainly Isaiah the 6th chapter, but it's also spoken about in Isaiah 28, 29 and 30. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. And you got individuals, if you read the next verse down, the 11th verse, it says, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid, but rather through their fall salvation is coming to the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now the Gentiles, what was taught back at One West by High Priest Arian and the rest of the seven, that the Gentiles were other nations. No, we found out that the Gentiles were Israelites that were being labeled as Gentiles, because when you read the rest of Romans the 11th chapter, it speaks about the Gentiles being grafted back in. So those Gentiles, in as I said in Romans 11th chapter, are referring to Israelites. But you have, one particular group, HODC, and that's why I say they're the weakest, one of the weakest camps out there. They teach that the Gentiles in Romans the 11th chapter are talking about actual Gentiles. So that shows you how weak they are. And you know, Priest Daniela said, yeah, it's hard, it's rough around the edges. Well, guess what? That's the way you're supposed to be, man. Spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their wickedness, their iniquity, their unrighteousness. Isaiah 58 and 1. See, we're not, the Most High didn't set us up to be politically correct Israelites, Daniela. So if you going off, I'm gonna get on you. If Nate is going off, I'm gonna get on Nate. If Johanna or Tazarek is going off, like Tazarek, not Tazarek, but ISUPK. They taught about a while back, I don't know, 6 months ago maybe, that John the Baptist fell out the truth. Now every Israelite group should have jumped on them. The only group that jumped on them and said they were going off was who? GMS. This is why Sarnetta says something about that GMS. Something about that GMS. I check out what they saying. They're correct. They're on point. Think about it. So now let's go. Let me just give you some of these precepts here. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. This is 2 Peter 2. You really should read Second Peter 2. You really should start from the first verse. Let me open it up with the first verse. But the key point I wanted to get at is way down at around the 20th verse. But this, you got to really read this whole chapter. It says 2 Peter 2 verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people. What people? The Israelites. Who are the false prophets that were among the people are the Israelites, getting up saying, oh, this scripture means this and that scripture means that, and going off and leading people astray. But the only ones that's going to be led astray are you individuals that are part of the 2/3. Remember, these guys that I mentioned from these other groups, in one way or another, they are stumbling blocks. It said, even as there shall be false teachers among you. Now, is it talking about Edomites? Edomite pastors? No, it's talking about these Israelites teaching these wayward, bugged out ass doctrines, man. It said, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them. And the ones of you that went back into the world, guess what you did? You denied the Lord and bring upon themselves swift destruction. See, when you go into these scriptures and you teach, when you sit down and you teach, you don't just wing it. You got to go through the scriptures. You may have, if you don't understand the scripture, you may have to pray on it, or you may have to consult with other brothers to see that you get it right. You don't just open up the scriptures like I was getting on this guy, elder or high priest, whatever title he is, Barak, because he did a breakdown on Revelation the 12th chapter, and he totally botched it. So I got on him about it. He was making it up as he was going along. Why? Because he doesn't take care for the flock. When you feeding the flock, you gotta know. Look, if you feeding the baby with some baby food, you don't know how old the food is, and you smell the food, and that food is bad. You know. You don't just go ahead. You see green shit floating around in the baby food, and you just gonna feed the baby. That's gonna get the baby sick. And that's what you clowns are doing. You feeding these people poison, and you got them all fucked up. It says, the second verse, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. When you say the little horn in Daniel 7 is a Roman Catholic church, you're speaking evil of the scriptures, man. Or you're speaking evil of us. And these guys, they pop up every 10 years. Let me click on the word pernicious. The word is apolia, which means, I already know what it means. It means destroy. Apollyon, destroy. It says to destroy, utterly destruction. And what they do is they utterly destroy the true breakdowns of the scriptures, man. And you got people confused. You guys are a major stumbling block of vessels of perishing, ruin, destruction of money, the destruction which consists of eternal misery in hell, which they went off on that. But then you got some of these clowns teaching that you're going to burn in hell. I believe the ICGJC teaches that. Well, they basically got a Roman Catholic doctrine. Okay, let me come back. See, and a lot of you won't even take the time to go into certain words. You'll read pernicious, and you don't even know what the hell it means because you don't go into it. You don't click. See, I just found out that pernicious goes back to the word apolia, which means the destruction of something. So let's go back. It says 2 Peter 2 verse 2, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, destructive ways, because it's going to lead you to destruction. by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Well, the way of truth is the scriptures. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not. You got these niggas talking shit for years, and their damnation stumbleth not. For if the Most High spared the angels represent us in bodies that sin, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness. We are the angels in those chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment. And what's the judgment? Us coming over here in cargo slave ships, us going through hell. We're being judged right now for what we did in our former lives. Then it gives you the example of Noah. It gives you the example of Sodom and Gomorrah. 7th verse, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Now Peter called Lot just, but Lot did an act which you would say was not just. He was willing to give up his 2 daughters, virgin daughters, for these men of Sodom to rape the woman, instead of raping the 2 angels which came in the form of men. So, is that a righteous act? Well, according to Peter, he at the end of the day, he's called a righteous man. See, you guys don't understand the scriptures. You don't understand how the ancient world really was, because you were there in another life. Your mores and your values is based upon what you read in the scriptures and based upon what you see in everyday life. I'm almost tempted to read this whole chapter, but I'm going to jump down to jump to the 19th verse. 2 Peter 2 verse 19. While they promised them liberty, in other words, I'm breaking the scriptures down for you so you can get the understanding, so you can get right with the Most High. But they're really not doing that. They're feeding them with vomit. They themselves are the servants of corruption. All these different groups are corrupt. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollution of the world, meaning you come into this truth through the knowledge of the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein. They went back into the world. And sometimes you guys go follow a particular group that's leading you astray, and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. And see, a lot of these guys bug the hell out. It says 21st verse. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow, the pig, that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. And that's what you guys are doing. You're going back to and then some of you guys just become Christians. A lot of the IUIC guys that they leave, they turn into Christians, most of them. So let me go through some of these precepts and I'm gonna close it. It says Proverbs 23 verse 8, the morsel which thou hast eaten shall thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. The morsel, the lie that you picked up following some bugged out self-proclaimed teacher, it said the morsel which thou hast eaten shall thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Now That morsel represents the righteous breakdown of the scriptures. Let me read it one more time. The morsel which thou hast eaten shall thou vomit up, meaning the righteous word that you took it in, and you went around, you said, I'm going to listen to IUIC and some of ISCBK and some of this group and some of that group. And what ultimately, you might have heard the righteous word or breakdown from GMS, but you listen to another group, and then you just say, nah, GMS is going off. So what do? You vomit up and lose thy sweet words. The sweet words is the truth. Proverbs 25 verse 16. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therein and vomited. You got a lot of guys that want to be super duper Israelites. They want to learn all the scriptures inside of 2 months. You can't do that. It takes a little bit of time. Isaiah 28 verse 8, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. And then you got 2 Peter 2 verse 22, which I just read. It said, but it is happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. Give me a second. Oh yeah, I gotta go into this one. This is Ephesians 4 and 11. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and some teachers. Now, if you check out GMS, no matter where you go to among any of the GMS camps, if you ask a question in the New York camp, you're going to get the same answer in New York as you do in California or in some other GMS camp out there, Chicago or whatever, Florida, DC, wherever, in Canada. And so then he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and some teachers for the perfecting of the saints. So you have teachers. So you got guys that come into this thing. They might do a couple of years, then they break out on their own, or they try to be the leader. No, the Spirit came to me in a vision, and then no. You're going off. If you can't get this understanding, then you got to keep it moving. It said for the perfecting of the saints, for the work. Because if you go to different Israelite camps and you ask certain key questions, you're gonna get a bunch of different answers, man. So there's only one answer per breakdown, man. There ain't no 50 different breakdowns for one precept. It said for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahushua, till we all come in the unity of the faith. Now you got these people that come on the comment board, well, why can't all the camps come together? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it'll be mass confusion. It'll be mass it will be mass confusion. Did the Lord get with the wicked scribes and Pharisees? Hell no. 13th verse. Till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man. What does the word perfect mean? And who leads you to perfection? The men that the Most High set up.
Strong's G 5046. Teleos. Teleos.
Teleos, which means brought to its end, finished. In other words, when you put a meal together, it may take you an hour to put that meal together. But when that meal or that dish hits the table, it looks perfect because you took the time to put all the ingredients together. It's a brought to its end, finished, wanting nothing necessary to completeness. In other words, there's only one way to break down Daniel the 7th chapter. There's only one way to break down Revelation the 13th chapter. There's only one way to break down Revelation the 13th chapter verses 16 to 17. It's not talking about no goddamn Roman Catholic Church. It's not talking about an embargo. It's not talking about sleeping with white women. It's talking about the mark of the beast. There's only one way to break it down. Now, what's his priest Zabak said he finally sees it somewhat, and he says, "Yeah, it's the chip, but it's something else." No, it ain't no something else. It's a chip. It's a mark of the beast, which is the microchip. It's a wanting nothing necessary to completeness, perfect, that which is perfect, consummate human integrity and virtue of men, full grown, adult, of full age, mature. A lot of you guys are kids. Bear me for a minute. Damn, I can't. I'm trying to find this particular. Now the computer's acting up. Now the computer's acting up. Bear with me for a minute. Damn, I hate this. I hate this. Okay, I just found it. 1 Timothy 3 verse 6. Not a novice. Novice meaning new. Lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. So a lot of you come into this and you move up fast and you're teaching the word, but then you might get a lot of people following you, and it goes to your head, and that's where pride comes in, and ultimately you come under the condemnation of the devil. It says in the 7th verse, same chapter, 1 Timothy 3 verse 7, moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil, the trap of the devil. See, a lot of these guys get big-headed, and ultimately they burn out. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.